Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back here with my YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to be doing part number 15, I believe, of reviewing the MCU in this Reviewing the MCU series. So, yeah, in today's video we're doing Spider-Man Homecoming. Almost said No Way Home by accident. And yeah, it is indeed part number 15 of my ongoing series. Here talking a bit about, reviewing the MCU as I'm going in release order right now. So, yeah. Anyways, Spider-Man Homecoming came out in about 2017. So about, was it 5 years? So, or approaching 5 years. Technically been about four? No. Yeah, it's been about 4 years, but it's approaching 5 years just now. So, yeah. So yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. Definitely an interesting movie. So yeah, the way I like to do this is I like to do my initial reaction, bad, good, and then final thoughts slash score. So quickly, my initial reaction to this movie. I actually think it's pretty interesting. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot, especially when it came out. Um, Honestly, in my opinion now, my opinion's kind of just lowered down a bit about it, but it's still a good movie in my opinion. Uh, wouldn't say the best, but I mean it's definitely in the middle, but on higher level of the middle. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, continuing on here, let's go with the bad. So in terms of the bad, there's not really too many things bad. These are more critiques to say the least. Um, Now, first, I'm just gonna say this in a broad term. The writing is very choppy. There's a lot of like, I'm not gonna, I guess you could say plot holes, and just I wasn't a huge fan of that. Yeah, so yeah, that was a big thing with it. The writing's a bit choppy. Uh, so yeah, like going into more detail here. First of all, Spider-Man himself didn't prove too great. I mean, he did improve to become more of like his own independent hero and kind of prove himself to other characters, but he never really completely proved himself. I mean, he just straight up at the start of the movie we saw him, he was just a neighborhood hero, and then at the end he's just technically a neighborhood hero still. He just fought a man that had vulture wings and was attempting to rob people. So like that's what I'm saying. Is the fact that, especially with that, is yeah, he didn't really improve too much as a character. His character development wasn't the greatest. I know, obviously, I didn't expect him to be some full fleshed out hero by the end of this, but I mean, I expected maybe a little bit more, but I mean, it's whatever. It's not too big of a problem. So, yeah, so that wasn't a huge biggest problem with anything. With that being said, so next thing would probably be his whole identity thing. Um, they just made it a little too obvious in this. Like, for example, like how did these people not know he was Spider-Man? It kind of puzzles me. I mean, especially these people. A lot of these people are very intelligent. How did they not realize he was Spider-Man? Like, for example, that big thing in Washington. Like, how did people not be like, "Oh, Peter's gone and Spider-Man comes," or "Peter's gone again and Spider-Man comes again"? Like, how are people not really seeing that? Maybe the stuff at the party could be explainable, but I mean, that stuff at Washington is just like, what the hell? That makes zero sense. With that being said, like it's a bit choppy, and that just goes for the same throughout the whole entirety of just Tom Holland's trilogy, you could say. uh it just it's a little choppy when it comes down to his identity, and eventually that does catch up to him and everything, but I mean, still it's a bit choppy with that. And yeah. uh Another part, I know this is like a wide critique of Spider-Man's character. There's a little bit too much Iron Man for my liking. I mean, Iron Man, I guess, is playing that Uncle Ben role, but I mean, still, I wasn't a biggest fan of just seeing so much of him in the movie. It just really deteriorated Peter's character, and I didn't really like that too much. Uh, No, this isn't. This is more so say like a mild critique, but I mean Shocker and I guess you could say Scorpion as well. Like they were kind of like just there, and it kind of stink. Like I mean, I would have perhaps maybe even like in a post credit teaser like showcasing maybe perhaps Shocker getting a suit or something, just because I felt as if they were kind of just there, and were just like random bad guys in the movie that didn't really do much. So yeah, I mean maybe they're setting them up for something in the future, but I mean it was kind of choppy with them. Now let's move on to the good. So in terms of the good, I personally like the fact that it's like a kind of like a coming of age movie. I personally like that part. I know there's a lot of people that dislike it, but myself personally, I actually enjoy that aspect of it. I think it makes it a little bit. It makes it more interesting as well as a fresh take on the character, and I actually really enjoy that. So with that being said, like I don't mind that. I think it's a good part of the movie. Another thing is I like the theme and the soundtrack. The soundtrack, sorry. Uh, the theme really set the moments and stuff. I also really got a hand to whoever was a musician, because they kind of like reinvented a little bit of Spider-Man's theme of sorts. Like for example, uh, like me personally now, I find myself when I see Spider-Man just maybe humming along to the theme and stuff. So that's just my opinion. I mean that's not the same for everybody obviously, but it's okay. Uh yeah, I like the CGI. The CGI was actually really good, especially for this type of movie. I thought the CGI was really good. Uh, Even I'm not sure if Spider-Man's suit is completely CGI. I know at certain moments his suit is CGI. I could tell, but I'm not sure if it's all the time. But I know like I'm not really sure in terms of like the mask configurations and stuff. But still, that looks really realistic. And even if it is real, it still looks cool. And that's leads me to the next point, which I really like the suits. The suits were really cool. Even the homemade suit was actually pretty interesting in my opinion. I thought the suits for that. I thought Vulture's suit was really cool. I thought Iron Man's suit was pretty cool. So yeah. Another thing in terms of villain, I actually think that Vulture is one of the better villains in the MCU. Easily, probably top 10. I thought Vulture was a really good villain. I actually thought his motives were really good, and he was good for that origin story factor. Like he wasn't someone too extremely hard. Like for example, if they threw Green Goblin or one of his harder nemesis or harder enemies to fight, it wouldn't have been the same. Like that would have just been a jolt of energy. Whereas in this, it kind of was more down to earth, leveled down, so something that was achievable. I thought it just made it much better in my opinion, with the take on Vulture, as well as I liked how they kind of tied him in with Liz Allen. I thought that was actually a clever idea. I thought it was really interesting to kind of see them do that. So that was pretty interesting. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that does happen with that. Um, yeah, then that's pretty much it. Well, actually, also another thing that I liked as well, character wise, I thought it was interesting. I really like Tom Holland as Spider Man because he just brings a level of charisma, which I actually really enjoy. So, yeah. In terms of my final thoughts, honestly, I think this movie's pretty good. Honestly, my opinion's kind of deteriorated on it over the years, but I mean, still, it's still a good movie. I still think it holds up pretty good. Uh, Obviously, not the best of the home trilogy anymore, but I mean, it's still a good movie. I still enjoy it. I still like to watch it and everything. Uh, yeah, and it's still in the better part of the MCU as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it though. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.